Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most vital skills in the hospitality industry, professional hotel payment handling.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to all students of Europe Hotel School. I'll be your guide for this essential training module. Now, the statement you see here, that is the absolute foundation of our session today. And why is that? It's because every single transaction is a moment of trust between a guest and your hotel. Our job is to make sure you're ready to honor that trust every single time.
Look, our goal here is pretty simple, to give you practical, real-world skills that you can start using on your very first day at the front desk. Everything we're about to cover is based on best practices from inside the industry, all designed to get you ready for the responsibilities you're about to take on.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We've got 5 core areas to cover. We'll kick things off by really defining the cashier's role. It's more than you think. Then we'll get hands-on with both physical cash and, of course, card payments. We'll also take a look at the future of digital transactions, and we'll wrap it all up with the crucial skill of end-of-shift reconciliation. That's where every single detail really matters.
All right, first up, let's redefine this position. See, being a cashier is about so much more than just taking money. You are, in fact, the guardian of 2 incredibly important things, your guests' trust and the hotel's financial assets. The way you handle yourself at the front desk directly impacts everything, from guest satisfaction to the hotel's bottom line.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it all boils down to these 4 non-negotiable pillars. We're talking accuracy in every single calculation. We're talking security, protecting every transaction like it's in a vault. And of course, strict compliance with procedures and a professional demeanor that builds confidence. When you master these, you're protecting the financial integrity of your hotel.
Okay, let's start with the most traditional form of payment out there, physical currency. Now, you might not see it as much these days, but handling cash and foreign exchange demands a special kind of attention to detail.
Every single shift kicks off with what's called the cashier's float. Think of this as your starting bank for the day. It's the cash you'll use to make change for guests. It's a fixed amount, and it has to stay perfectly consistent. Getting this right from the very beginning is absolutely crucial for balancing out later.
Now, the most important part of handling cash is being vigilant all the time. Counterfeit currency is a serious threat, which is why you have to follow this strict process every time you take a banknote. First, you inspect its security features with your eyes. Then, you use the hotel's tools to verify it. Only after you've done those checks do you record the transaction and provide change. No exceptions.
Handling foreign currency definitely adds another layer of complexity, but this table here breaks down a typical transaction beautifully. You see, you start with the bill in your local currency. Then you apply the hotel's official exchange rate for that day to whatever currency the guest gives you. You calculate the converted amount, and then you issue any change that's due back to them in the local currency. Being clear and precise here is everything.
All right, let's shift gears now to the most common payment method you'll see in any modern hotel, credit and debit cards. And in this module, the main theme, the key word, is security. Protecting guest data isn't just a good idea, it's a fundamental part of your job. It is so important to understand the difference between an authorization and a capture. Think of it like this. An authorization is the temporary hold placed on the card to make sure the guest has enough funds to cover their stay. The capture, on the other hand, happens at checkout. That's the final step that actually transfers the money to the hotel's account. Getting this right prevents those awkward declined payments and, trust me, much happier guests.
Now let me be crystal clear about this. Following PCI security standards isn't optional, it's mandatory. These rules protect you, the guest, and the hotel. As you can see, this means you never write down full card numbers. It means the payment terminal is always facing the guest. And it means making sure printed receipts hide sensitive details. Taking any kind of shortcut here puts everyone at serious risk.
On the rare occasion you need to process a refund or void a transaction, you have to follow the hotel's specific procedure to the letter. This is a high-risk area for fraud, which is exactly why you'll often need a supervisor's approval, especially if it's for a larger amount of money.
The world of payments is changing all the time. As a forward-thinking professional, you need to be proficient in the latest methods guests want to use. So let's dive into some of these modern and alternative payment options.
You've all seen these, digital wallets like Apple Pay and Google Pay. They offer guests a really convenient and secure tap-to-pay option. The good news is, these are usually processed through the same terminals as credit cards and are integrated right into the property management system, which makes the whole process pretty simple for you.
You're also going to see more and more touchless options like QR codes and payment links. Now, while the guest handles the transaction on their own device, your role here is still absolutely critical. You might need to guide them, sure, but your most important job is to verify that the transaction is complete in your system before they walk away. You need to see that confirmation and transaction ID.
Now for a common B2B arrangement, the city ledger, which you might also hear called direct billing. This is simply where a company agrees to pay for a guest's stay later on. The key thing for you to remember is this: before you process anything, you must always verify that there's a credit agreement in place and that the charges you're posting are allowed under that agreement. This prevents major headaches down the line. Here is a super common point of confusion for guests: the difference between a prepayment and a deposit. Here's the simplest way to explain it. A prepayment covers the cost of the room itself, and it's often made through a third party like a travel agency. A deposit, though, is a totally separate hold for incidental charges, things like the minibar or room service. Being able to explain this clearly is a sign of truly great service.
Okay, we've made it to our final module, which is basically the ultimate test of your accuracy for the day: end-of-shift reconciliation. This is where you prove that all of your transactions balance perfectly with the hotel's records.
This process has to be methodical. You'll count your cash, you'll total up your card receipts, and you'll verify all the other payments. Then you match everything against the report from your system. Now, the most crucial part is this: if there's any discrepancy, any variance at all, no matter how small, you have to investigate and report it right away.
You see, your reconciliation is so much more than just closing out your shift. An accurate balance from you is the solid foundation that the entire hotel's night audit is built on. Your precision ensures the financial reporting for the whole property is correct.
This slide really gets to the heart of what it takes, because this role is about more than just technical skill. It requires patience when a guest is confused about their bill. It demands unwavering accuracy to make sure your balance is perfect. It takes real calmness during a chaotic checkout rush and a solid commitment to following the rules, even when you're tempted to take a shortcut.
So, let's end on this thought. The role of a cashier is a huge responsibility. There's no doubt about it. But with dedicated practice and a sharp eye for detail, you become so much more than an employee. You become a trustworthy financial representative of the hotel, making sure that every guest's final impression is one of seamless, secure professionalism. Thank you for your attention.